Hello everyone. Today I'm going to present the utopian and dystopian fiction. Next slide, please. Uh, our table of content is what is the utopia, what is the dystopia, characteristics of a utopian fiction, characteristics of the dystopian fiction, variety of a utopia, variety of dystopia. Next slide, please. What is the utopia? So, according to a Cambridge dictionary, a perfect society in which people work well with each other and are happily. Try and imagine a perfect society, a utopia, in which the government really got everything right. Human in the developed world at least are as close to utopia as they are ever like to be argued with the professor. Now, what is the dystopia? Simply, a dystopia is defined as the bad place, a place where no one would want to live, a place in which one's right and freedom would be gone, a place where the environment would be devastated. And dystopia is created from the prefix dis means bad and harsh or worse, and the Greek root topos means place. Now, what is the significance of the utopian fiction? So, some of the significance utopian fiction consists is the benevolent government, then equality for the citizen, access to education, healthcare, employment, and so forth. And citizens are free to think independently as a safe, favorable, and environment. Now, what is the significance of the dystopian fiction? Dystopian novels that have a didactic message often explore them themes like anarchism, oppression, and mass poverty. Margaret Atwood, one of literature's most celebrated author of the dystopian fiction, think about it like this: if you are interested in a writing speculative fiction, on way to generate a plot is to take an idea from the current society and move it a little further down the road. Even if humans are short-term thinker, fiction can anticipate and extrapolate into the multiple version of the future. Now, characteristics of the utopian fiction. So, utopian literature typically is isolated the element of a presence, the reality that need improvement, and it then conjuring the world that featured that improvement. Ecologically, utopian story present the world where climate and nature resources no longer face their crisis they do today. And the feminist utopia offered the world where women and men are fully equal. And technological utopias depict the advancement in upcoming robotic and transporting that are mere dreams in the present world. Now, characteristics of the dystopian fiction. Propaganda replaces the education and is used to control the citizen of a society. Another characteristic, the information independence through and the freedom are restricted. And then other is citizens are perceived to the under constant surveillance. Citizens have a fear of the outside world. Citizens live in a dehumanized state. The natural world is vanished and disturbed, and citizens conform to uniform. The expectations, individuality, and decent are bad. Now, one of the interesting thing is the variety of a utopia. So, utopia can be varied as the ecological utopia, economic utopia, political utopia, religious utopia, and science utopia. So now we are going to more discussion about these 5 kind of utopia. So first is the ecological utopia. What does mean by the ecological utopia is that a traditional way of life that is the more harmony with nature, an organic way of life. Now, ecological utopia, an equal distribution of goods and friendly with the total abolition of money. And with money, and citizen only doing work which they enjoying and which is the core of the common good, leaving them with ample time for the cultivation of the art and science. They forget all the salary, titles, work, and status, and choose a job that mark they want. Now, political utopia, world peace. Global nonsense and everyone getting along regarding of the race, culture and political beliefs, a world without a war. Now, what does mean by the religious utopia? So, religious utopia consists the harmony, peace, understanding, enlightenment. Now, science and technology utopia set in the future, utopian living standards, absence of death and sufferings, and changes in a human nature and the human condition. Next slide. No. Is it not visible? Maybe next now. Now, variety of a dystopia. Now came to the varieties of a dystopia. The first is the society, second is the social group, nature, politics, and economic. So, society. So we are taking an example like a class system, people referring to as a number rather than a manner, and people are cloned. So there are several of the same people, and there are uniform and lose the individuality. Now come to the social group. So examples are the concept of the religious under the undertaker and concept of the families no longer exist. So now nature. The setting of the dystopia are frequently urban, separated all character from any contact with nature, and people are conditioned to be afraid of nature. Now come to the politics. Politics. Political varieties are governing classing. Class is a hedonistic of
It seems she is disconnected again. Let us wait for some time if she can reconnect. Let us wait for a couple of minutes if she can reconnect again.
Give me a minute, sir. Due to network issue, I left from the laptop.
Yeah, no problem. You connect and continue with this. Yeah.
Now, what is the difference between utopian fiction and dystopian fiction? So, according to James, utopian fiction. Sir, I'm getting some problem with the slides. It's not visible. So.
No, here it is visible. Your voice is visible. Your video also is visible. Yeah.
Okay, give me a minute, sir, please. Okay. Can I continue, sir?
Yes, continue. Yeah.
Now, how uh, what is the difference between the utopian fiction and dystopian fiction? So, according to James Patterson, utopian fiction is set in a perfect world, an important version of a real life. Dystopian fiction does the opposite. A dystopian novel drops its main character into a world where everything seems to have gone wrong at the macro level. Much like a utopian novel, dystopian novel can take a place in the future and the past or an alternate present, and some may feature uh, 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 altered version of a real world cities like New York, London, and other may be set in the full fictional locals. Now, have utopia saved the world? So, according to Tom Hodgkin, more coin, the world the described as an island and community with an ideal mode of a government, and first published in the late 1570s. The book Utopia means no place in a Greek. Some scholars have said that it may also be a one of a happy place, and they live in a perfect no load, and they observe no laws, and emergio, and the digger advocated a community philosophy. The earth ought to be a common treasure to all. The fundamental problem in a creating perfect world, people don't like being told what to do. Like their capitals and forebear in the 19th century, Silicon Valley capitalists talk about the building ideal societies. Now, example of a utopian and dystopian fiction. So, as we know that some of the famous utopian fiction like Gulliver Travels by Jonathan Swift, then a modern utopia by H.G. Wells, Man Like a God by the H.G. Wells, Iceland by the Aldous Huxley, Always Coming Home by the Ursula Kelly. Then now come to the dystopian fiction, The Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, 1984, as we studied in by George Orwell. So some of these all are some of the both utopian and dystopian fictions. These all are my citations. Thank you.
Hello, Nidhi.
Yes, hello.
My question is, what do you think we are living in a utopian world or a dystopian world?
Actually, as my opinion, we are living in a dystopian world because whatever we are doing is watching by someone. Now there is no safety. Like we are using a FB, we are using a WhatsApp, Instagram. So our personal life is not as personal as we think. And somewhere we are watching by someone. So in a way, we are living in a dystopian world. Thank you.
Nidhi, can you give a name of a web series which is based on dystopian themes?
I remember Sir often mentioned the web series named Layla. So I also would to give example of Layla that it's a dystopian web series. Thank you, Nandita.
Yes, okay, good. There are a couple of things which everybody can take note of. In this presentation, she has used these citations in a proper way. So, like for example, let me share this screen. She has taken this James Patterson, for example. James Patterson. She has used in this. And another one is Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson, according to Tom Hodgkinson, it's a couple of things, and that is cited. Then here James Patterson is mentioned inside the slides, which is again referred at the end. I think two names I am seeing there. Okay. Now, see, both the names should come, like people are curious to see that, well, you say that Tom Hodgkinson says so and so kind of thing. So I may be interested to see that where has Tom Hodgkinson written all these things and how has he written. So I will go to citations to check whether it is there or not. So I find Tom Hodgkinson, How Utopia Shaped the World, BBC. There is a link also that is given there. Now, in the same case, the Patterson is missing. You see that? Patterson, James Patterson. Yeah, James Patterson. So what is the citation source? That is not there. So in that way, you cut your marks in there, in text and at the end of the text. That combination is very important. But using this inside the text is very good. This is how you can score more marks in research and citations, if you can use this in this. Then one more stage is there where you use it for arguments. You agree, disagree, you make arguments based on so and so kinds of thing. That is the next stage of using the resources. Okay, next presenter is Riddhi. Yes.